Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Hi, I'm Bill Nye, and today we're going to be talking about evolution! Evolution is when other frequencies in population change. Now, Darwin came up with 4 postulates as how evolution occurs. Number 1, variation in traits in a population. Number 2, heritability of traits in the population. Number 3, differential survivability. And number 4, the offspring who survives gets to make more offspring with advantageous traits. Now let's talk about speciation. So speciation occurs because of lack of gene flow. Now, you can have lack of gene flow with allopathic methods, such as colonization events, when a part of the population decides to go to an island or something like that. Or you can have a vicarious event when the two population gets separated in half by some sort of earthquake or mountain building up or a river forming.
And now, a question from one of our viewers.
I know a lot about science, but not about that. So let's get some experts in here. We have Dr. Scott Merceder from the University of Liverpool here with us today to talk about mammalian diving capacity.
Sure, Bill. I'd love to talk about this paper a little bit. So, a longer dive time allows mammals to dive deeper into the water to get more food where mammals with shorter dive times can't reach. Also, a longer dive time allows mammals to dive deeper down and avoid predators longer than animals with shorter dive times. So, as you can see, mammals with longer dive times are more fit, and therefore they reproduce more. So, from this, evolution favors animals who can stay underwater longer.
Cool, Scott. That's some really interesting stuff. But what exactly is myoglobin? Could it be a protein? A protein is made of amino acids? I don't know. Let's get another expert in here. Here we have Jennifer Burns from the University of Alaska Anchorage talk about myoglobin.
Thanks, Bill. Myoglobin is actually a globular amino acid with a hydrophobic core and an oxygen-binding heme group. It's found to have a higher oxygen affinity than hemoglobin, and it's involved in oxygen storage. Dive time of various species has been linked to the concentration of myoglobin in the skeletal muscle. As the maximum myoglobin concentration increases, the maximum dive time also increases. We found that increasing the myoglobin net surface charge increases the maximum concentration of myoglobin allowable.
That's so cool! I didn't know that stuff before. But what about the net surface charge of myoglobin and, the role it plays? Let's get another expert in here. So here we have Professor Andrew Costens from the University of Liverpool with us today. Professor Costens, could you tell us more about the net surface charge of myoglobin?
Sure, Bill. So as Jennifer explained earlier, myoglobin is made up of amino acids. And because myoglobin has slightly more positive amino acids than negative ones, it ends up with an overall positive charge. And this surface charge becomes important because higher surface charge means that more myoglobin can be stored in skeletal muscle. So we see that the best divers in the animal kingdom, such as blue whales and sperm whales, also have the highest myoglobin concentrations and highest myoglobin net surface charge. And net surface charge is actually so important that we've seen increases in net surface charge across different lineages emerge independently. And this is something that we call convergent evolution.
Fascinating. Thanks a bunch, Professor. But how does the net surface charge relate to the maximal diving time? Let's get another expert in here. Kids, I'd like you to meet Kevin... Is this the right person? Okay, alright. Kids, I'd like you to meet Dr. Kevin Campbell from the University of Manitoba.
Hey, Bill. That's right. My name's Kevin. It's great to be here on your show. Let's talk a little more about myoglobin net surface charge. The interesting thing about myoglobin net surface charge is that it has increased over the years, as my colleague Andrew Cossins mentioned earlier. Species with elevated levels of net surface charge, such as echidnas and tapid moles, are very interesting to us scientists because it helps prove that they evolved from aquatic or semi-aquatic ancestors. Pretty cool, right?
You bet.
Manatees, however, are on the opposite end of the spectrum. They have a very low myoglobin net surface charge, and this explains why they have such a shallow diving capacity, as well as a low metabolic rate. This relationship between myoglobin and the net surface charge and diving time can be used to create a mathematical relationship to find diving time. Here you can see this equation. Tmax is the maximal diving time, M is the body mass, and MB max is the myoglobin concentration. You just plug in the numbers and you'll come up with an accurate answer. It's simple.
Thanks, experts. Woo-wee! Learned a lot of science today.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.